Good morning. Welcome to Lions Talk with Smoke and Jeremy B. Dan Leonard's hard work in the Pepsi routes here. We're going to get started.
Network broadcast. You can find us on Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, Facebook, and of course YouTube. Get all your NFL news here first.
Here locally in the community. Make sure y'all go check out Kneecap Body by Jeremy Smoke.
That's right. It's me, Smoke and Jeremy B. I got Will Vogel, Ricky Sakat in the chat, a few more watching throughout the network. How's everybody doing today? It was a great weekend. How was your weekend? Let me know. Got Joshua Dorr coming in with the Smoke and Jay. And of course, I know what he's going to ask, so why not doing a preemptive strike? There's your dog check. Got it done right off the rip. We got a few things to talk about today. Lionwire came out and said that it's rumored over the weekend that we're going to sign Quandre Diggs. So then a pro scout that works for the Sports Illustrated actually basically copy and pasted the article and changed a couple words here and there so it wouldn't be plagiarism. But at the same time, I haven't heard anything like that out of Allen Park. So that's kind of a huge thing. Am I excited for the Tribune to be back this week? I'm always excited to do podcasts. I'm on a lot. You've been watching them every time I go live, Joshua Dorr, so I appreciate your dedication to everything I do. Let's get into this one, though. Over the weekend, the Washington Commanders just signed Brandon Sosna over the weekend. But I think that's why our front office got ahead of this. We actually signed two guys. So his replacement's already on the front office staff. If you remember right. No titles were given, but we signed two prominent guys. You can say the Commanders are thieves, but that guy's responsible for $444 million worth of contracts over the last 2 weeks. You know, hey, things happen. Luckily, you have a new car, you have good insurance, the other person has insurance, it'll be taken care of, Will. I know what it's like to have your car hit and not have insurance. It sucks. But you have insurance. It'll be fine. You'll probably get a loaner. Go to a place that does the repairs with a free loaner car. Don't just go to the dealership. But in other news, the Quandre Diggs thing, I don't think it's realistic. We only saved $5 million. And I think that was to make sure we could cover the contracts for Ennis Rakestraw and Terrion Arnold, with Terrion Arnold being a first pick, trading up 5 spots. It made us have a little bit bigger of a cap hit. Removing a late round pick only saves about $1 million, but we got 2 fourth round picks instead of a fifth and 2 sixths. Paul Jones in the building, and he's on vacation and still checking in. We love you, Paul Jones. Thank you. I'm just looking at the bigger picture here. Yeah, the Commanders may be considered thieves, but I'm not a huge fan of bringing in a player plus 30, often misses time. The only time he makes interceptions is when he's way out of position because the QB throws it that bad. He's not that good in coverage. He isn't even that good at tackling anymore. I'm out on that. I think our safety room is fine. If we have to add someone later, we can always bring Baki out of the running back room to have him play safety because he is a decent tackler. But I'm excited to show you a few pictures of some guys that absolutely got yoked this offseason. Hutchinson's more cut. Broderick Martin slimming down and looking yoked. I mean, look at that. There isn't that big ass gut there. I think that'll help his bend. Pray for my 19 leg parlay, boys. Uh, I don't know if he is or not. Look at Malcolm Rodriguez there. He's absolutely yoked. And the other guy that got yoked this offseason is DPJ. They all said they don't want to be weak like last year. They want to be a stronger, more physical defense. They want to be stronger and more physical on the offensive side of the ball. I'm quite sure when we see Jameer Gibbs and David Montgomery, we're going to see they worked out this offseason too. I think Amon Brown, his dad, might be doing team workouts here. Just saying. Ty Nakua from the UFL won't break the bank. Is he a punt or kick returner? If so, then probably. Um, I don't think we're going to be bringing in anything but depth piece guy. I'm just being honest. We have 5 active on the wide receiver. Isaiah Williams and Jayla Calhoun is here, so technically that's 7. Add in Tom Kennedy, that's 8. We have 8 wide receivers. We have 5 tight ends, maybe 6. He's a safety. Okay. But we already have 5 or 6 safeties on the roster as it is already. If you count Sion Vaki in there, we have 5 and a possible 6. And I think even Brady Breeze is on the practice squad still, so I don't know. So that would be 7. Because everybody forgets about Brendan Joseph. Everybody was so excited about Brian Branch and picking him in the second round, and they forget that Brendan Joseph was projected to be a first round safety, and we got him as a UDFA. And I can't explain how huge that is. And that was because he had a poor combine. His game speed is better. In Detroit, you'll work hard for your money. Reader's agent told him you'll get less than others offer and work twice as hard. Dude said, "Where do I sign?" I know. The agents tell people this. I know JMO does returns, but his Vaki was very good at returning. He's more elusive than he is fast. You've got to go watch game film, Bogle. He's actually a very good returner. I'm not trying to blow smoke, but do you know who I think have the top wide receiver cores right now? The three-headed monsters that I think are the best three-headed monster wide receiver cores, and you can't include a tight end. No tight ends included. So it's 49ers, it's Texans, it's Bears. unfortunately for us, and the Dolphins. Those are the 4 best wide receiver rooms in the NFL. Will Vogel says, by the way, thank you for doing these shows. It expands my knowledge. We all expect JMO to break out this year. We want DPJ to be able to fill in that role of Josh Reynolds and not have the problems in the postseason that Josh Reynolds had in that last game. We all want that, correct? Nobody's hating on it. I mean, if you want to hate on it, go ahead. But I think DPJ is going to be fine. I think that's our big three. And then you got to throw in, you agree with the top three? You don't throw the Dolphins in there? It's four. I got a top four. And I think you could almost, if the Vikings had a better slot receiver because they didn't re-sign KJ Osborne, they would have been in that top five. I like DPJ coming out of Michigan too, but he was underutilized. But I still think the Vikings might have the fifth best wide receiver room overall. Yeah, late August cuts are going to be difficult. And the fact that we didn't sign JJ Ross, I think he's going to get picked up by somebody. Our camp invite. Because that kid showed out. And I'm quite sure other people watched the films like I did from the reporters that took them. I was hoping it was Kendall Vildor gone and we'd sign JJ Ross. And then I got excited when I saw we released Isaac Rex to find out we signed another tight end. And I was like, okay, I guess we're running with 5 or 6 tight ends. I mean, I get it, but I don't get it. What I liked about Ross is he played outside corner good and he played safety good. So he would have been depth at both positions. It would have been a nice add. Got that size and speed to him, that 6'3", 208. I always go to the average. One place says he's 205, another place says he's 210. Shoot in the middle, you're probably right. And tonight we'll be talking about some milestones the show hit over the past couple of weeks. But I want to celebrate that with Von Doom here because he's a part of it. He's the reason why I got there. I want to give a shout out to Huddle Up Sports Network. It's great to be live on their network. But that's why we signed those guys. That's why they're here. Good afternoon, my brother. It's another from another mother. It's a great day to be a Lion One Pride. Good to see you, Fred Peterson. Nice to see you join. And you're absolutely right. It is another great day to be a Lion. I had an excellent weekend. So Leonard explained why he liked the new jerseys for the Giants, their alternate. I know people are sleeping on Iffy, but they've already said Branch is going to be our starting safety. Yes, it holds water. Brandon Sosna, the guy that negotiated the contracts, Goff, Sewell, and St. Brown, he was signed by the Commanders, but I think that's why the front office got ahead of it and hired 2 guys with positions to be announced later. I bet you'll find out one of them is the contract negotiator. I bet you that's what we're going to find out. The front office knows stuff before we do. It happens that way all the time. So it is what it is. People move on. People get jobs. If anybody thought those were bad contracts, guess what? He wouldn't be going to another team. He didn't quit. He was signed. There's a big difference. Hey, Orlando Escarbano Jr. Exhausted. Graduation season. Wife got me working like a dog. Spring cleaning for family coming over. Sorry, I've been MIA. Hey, I'm glad to see you here, Orlando. Do I think more teams will unveil new uniforms? I think the Packers need to. They don't allow green in Sao Paulo, Brazil. Otherwise, they're going to have to wear those blue and gold prison uniforms. Just saying. I personally feel like the Green Bay blue and gold and the Pittsburgh blue and gold prison uniforms are the ugliest throwbacks in the NFL. I understand they'll be mid-tier. Big checks for NFL when new jerseys come out. Yeah, because everybody starts ordering them right off the rip. They want to pay that top dollar. That alternate jersey is $200 at most stores. Some have it as low as 160. Your boy here got a link, got a hookup called Mr. Leonard. But for those that missed the beginning of the show, there they are again, all three of them. The in that Corinthians soccer field that they're playing in, green is banned because it's their rival fan base's main color. I don't know when to get a new Panthers jersey, no one I want. Yeah, they traded away the player's jersey you wanted, which was Brian's Burns. He's a Giant now. Agent Zero will be wearing red, white, and blue in the throwbacks this year. And the more I think about it, a lot of the throwbacks are inaugural jerseys of their original of the either the team's original color or the first time they wore those colors that they used as that's current right now. That's what every team does. Luckily, the Lions don't go throwback to the Portsmouth Spartans colors because those were god awful. We'd be red, gold, and green. The Eagles blue and yellow is gross. It's not desirable, that's for sure. Well, the reason why he's fighting Fanatics is because the only thing he signed about was his autograph. And they're trying to include his jersey sales, and he never included it in the contract. So that's why his jerseys are not being sold. If you want an MHJ jersey, you got to do it as a custom, so nobody gets credit for it other than the Arizona Cardinals. Seahawks should go Zorn era jerseys. Oh, Will looks great in those New York throwbacks. Yoli Cruz, good to see you. Happy to have you here. So, what do you guys want to talk? I'm not Daniel Jones. You look a lot like him. You look just like him, Will, in that picture. And his stats almost says it to you. Isn't it commonplace for most rookies to sign that? What? No, 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 no. The name, image, and likeness contract that he signed in college his sophomore year to allow him to get paid by his Yoli. I am doing great. Thank you for asking. How are you doing? And with the contracts that happened this year, do you know what's gonna happen next year? There will be a 60 million a year. Yep, it's NIL stuff. This is setting a precedent, absolutely. BCP over Daniel Pesos. Don't let Leonard see that. He'll come in firing both cylinders. Danny Pesos has way more money than you have. You wouldn't be without a car right now if you had his money. I'd rather be Daniel Jones. Oh, had to have the industrial size tumbler today. It is going to set a precedent. They're trying to claim his jersey sales already. So they already pulled his jersey off the market. I think they look great. They're fine. Yes, they look like a baseball jersey or a softball jersey or a soccer jersey, but you know what? It's a throwback to when they started in the league. They're in their 100th anniversary. They'd be remiss to not do something to bring that back. The only thing I don't like is the pants. It kind of makes it look like a bomb pop, and the pants are the stick. Just saying. I would have did something blue or red with the pants. That tannish brown, it don't it don't sit right with me, but I get it. I have never been to Canton Hall of Fame. Not once. We're going to see this happen more and more. But the good news is, guess what's dropping soon? Oh, the meth is strong with this one. Dad, I think Levi Onwuzurike should be resigned before Hutchinson or Aleem McNeil to me. You don't watch football if you make that statement. That's all I'm saying. No, high schoolers absolutely cannot get NIL money. High school is high school. You have an agent in high school, you can't get into college. Period. And because they're under the age, what's dropping? I don't know. I got lost in the comments. You guys throw questions out before I can ever finish my thoughts. I got to address them. So I don't know anymore. No, Baby Gronk got a dad for an agent. He's a Wolverine. No. Who's Baby Gronk? You talking about that little 12-year-old? He's not a Wolverine. Stop. Yeah, it's highly doubtful. I might have to start blocking the burner accounts because I can't focus when they say something so ignorant. I don't know. It throws my train of truck off. It doesn't matter. He's 12 years old. He's got another 7 years before he'll be in college. I don't even really want to talk college stuff. This is supposed to be NFL. It's neither here nor there. And there's another liar in the chat, another fake account. Um, the ball dad is way more annoying than any other one. The only other parent that's more annoying than Mr. Ball would be the parent that yells at every ump when they make a call against their kid when they don't understand the rules. You want to fix that? Become an ump yourself or a ref. Summertime just trying to fill space. But yeah, but I don't even want to talk college ball. College ball is just as over as NFL. You want to talk a different ball? Talk Michigan Panthers. At least that's a semi-pro team. I mean, I'm just I'm over it. Prime time is the most annoying dad. No, because he actually played and has some clout and he did what he wanted. Lions fans just hate him because he said if the Lions fans just hate Prime because he refused to come here even in the draft. He goes, if you guys draft me, I'm not signing the contract. So we didn't do it. Worked out okay. We got Barry Sanders. Who's the guy you're most sad that didn't work out with the Lions over the past, oh, let's go back to 44 years, to 1980 till now. Which one are you upset that didn't work out the most? I have mine just because we picked them ahead of somebody, and it isn't Eric Ebron either. And every time I mention this guy, it makes Lions fans cry thinking about it. It was the 1998 draft. At 27, we picked Terry Fair, a kick returning corner, over Randy Moss because he smoked dope. Charles Rogers had so much upside. I'm talking about people we picked in front of people. I think 98 was the most disappointing one for me because if you're going to draft him ahead of Randy Moss, you expect him to cover Randy Moss. And he wasn't able to cover Randy Moss, not even with double help. Matt Millen becoming the GM over with Bobby Ross becoming the head coach is the reason why Barry Sanders retired. There's another one for the front office. In Detroit fan man, 50-50 split between Javid Best and Titus Young as Fire Lions who flamed out way too quickly, and I was affected mentally by their failures. Javid Best for me more than Titus Young. Titus Young, as soon as I saw him, I thought gadget player, and we reached taking him to begin with. I was upset we even drafted him. Um, Basically, you could name any running back we drafted after Barry Sanders until Jameer Gibbs for flaming out too quickly. On Johnson had promise. Sanders had to deal with the Dolphins, but we said no. Imagine Marino and Sanders that year. Mm-mm-mm. Wasn't Marino the 84 draft? Oh, you mean Barry Sanders with Marino. Okay. No, that came out after he announced his retirement. That was like 6 weeks later. He has to be. Yes, 30 for 30, Elway to Marino, 84. Yep. It was 1984 when they drafted Marino. Um, we drafted Sanders back in 89 or 90, one of the two, or 88. I mean, 88 or 89. And it was 89 because he made it to the 99 cover, which was Madden 2000 in digital form, but had to be removed from the shelves a month later because he announced his retirement 6 weeks later, just before the trade deadline. He has to be reinstated and traded to the Dolphins. It wasn't in the offseason, it happened during the season, and the Lions refused. Oh, rookie, straight to the Super Bowl. He had no idea that he would that would be his last time for Marino. Yep, it happens all the time. We see it a lot of times. First full season for Joe Burrow, all the way to the Super Bowl and lose. Hasn't been back yet. Can't stay healthy since. Had one healthy season and got bounced in the second round of the playoffs. I don't blow smoke. I don't. I love the fact that our guys have a chip on their shoulder and they're working out hard to be as good or better than last year because they don't want to get beat in certain ways again. I can't. Marino with Barry would have been something. But at the same time, during those years, they actually had decent running backs that got over 1,000 yards production. Calvin Johnson tried to do the same thing, retired a year later and asked to be reinstated to be traded to the Oakland Raiders. Does everybody remember that? Because he didn't want to be a Lion anymore. And everybody piled on the Lions for not doing that trade either. Then when we wouldn't trade him, he asked to be released of his contract. Hello, Matt Henry. Good to see you. Orlando, that's not true. We didn't sue him for the money back. That's a fallacy. It was written in the contracts. If you retire, it had nothing to do with suing. We didn't have to sue him. It's written right in the CBA contract. Bear down. That's right. I hear you. Last time I heard that, I was in Rice Lake at bear camp. We had to take the ATV out to haul the bear in. Why was he so mad? Because he didn't want to pay it back. Bonus was paid when he signed his contract. All the bonus money gets put in up front. That's what everybody is misconceived about. Bonus money is up front. Guaranteed money is paid by whatever the terms of the guarantee in the contract is. So he got his bonus money up front. And because if you retire before your contract is up, you are required to pay those years of bonus money back to the team, or you have to do a job that makes a salary that equals out that over a few years. Do teams usually let that go? Only if they have the cap space. Lions were in cap hell. They couldn't let it go. If they have the cap space, they can let it go. And very few teams let it go. It's just very few people ever complain about it because they actually read that part of the contract and they know that part because of their agents. Calvin Johnson is one of the first ones to ever complain about it. Ever. Guess what? Drew Brees didn't complain. He paid his back. He went straight to being a commentator. Yes, we got the last 2 years of Barry's bonus money back too. I think it's going to be 1, 2, 3 in no particular order. Either Lions, Packers, and Bears. I don't have any faith in the offense led by Sam Darnold or JJ McCarthy with the Vikings. Yes, they have weapons, but I don't trust either quarterback to get the job done. I think it's going to be a lot of languishing with them, and they're going to have a middling season, not be good enough to get a top 10 pick, but not be bad enough to pick or good not be bad enough to get a top 10 pick, but not be good enough to get a late round pick. They're going to be in the middle somewhere, languishing between 10 and 14 and 15. Um, I see the Bears as an improved team. I have their window of wins between 8 and 10. And I'm not trying to be a homer here. I know your defense is very good, and I know that there's great weapons in the with the Bears, but Caleb Williams is still a question mark until you see it on the field. So that's why I say they're an improved team. They should have a better record than they had last year. Orlando Escobar, I think this is the deepest team we fielded at every position, and we can survive injuries. I think the Lions last year being the best team in the North, and I'm not just blowing smoke. Yes, we failed in a couple of games late in the season, but every team does when they're dealing with injuries. We had 3 O linemen out when we played the Bears in Chicago. We had 2 O linemen out for the Bears and the Thanksgiving Day game when we lost the one and came back in the other. So if you look at the games when we had our nucleus of our O line intact, we only lost one primetime game with our entire starting O line, and that was the Dallas game. And in all actuality, if Derek Burns hits his safety or anything else, I believe that JMO will have a bounce back year. I have never believed that JMO, because of his skill set, would be a 1,000+ yard receiver here in Detroit because his skill set doesn't fit what the team concept is. I think if a realistic expectation for JMO is between 45 and 55 catches, somewhere between 800 yards and maybe 5, 6 touchdowns receiving. Then you throw in his all-purpose yards for the trick plays and everything else he does. There's another 2 touchdowns and possibly 200 yards there. So that's how he gets to 1,000 yards, but it won't be by his receiving. I predict Jay Jetta having a meltdown from lack of production number due to bad QB play and requesting a trade. Thank you, Grandizer 12. I know you know the sign, all the words to Gridiron Heroes. I just like being realistic and giving realistic expectations. I still think the Lions are an 11 to possibly a 13 win team. If everything goes right, they can win 13. But I actually think they're an 11 or 12 win team because we shored up our weakest part of our defense. We added pieces and depth at all the other places where we lost and actually gained by subtraction. Matt Henry, I'm with you on JMO. I can appreciate your take on things without being a homer. And I see Packers as a 9 to an 11 win team. 13 can take the number 1 seed. Absolutely. 12 can take the number 1 seed. If you remember, there was two teams, one loss away from being tied with the Lions, and it came down to coin breakers last year. I think we're going to see an improved role of DPJ this year. He's worked out hard. He actually cut fat and gained muscle mass. He didn't lose any weight. He actually looks the strongest he's looked in his entire NFL career. And I think he's doing that to replace Josh Reynolds' role on this roster. And he's going to be our slot receiver, much to everybody's chagrin. He's going to switch from slot to 2 because Amon-Ra plays everywhere. We've seen him play the X, we've seen him play the Y, we've seen him play the Z. If he's on the X, he's double covered every time. If he's on the Y or Z, he actually gets open more. So that's when you look for the ball to go St. Brown's his way. If you actually watch our offense, he gets more passes out of the Y and Z positions than he does out of the X. Our X will be probably JMO most of the time due to his speed and ability to take the top off of a defense. I just wish Goff could mentally get over whatever happened in 2018 and bring back the deep ball he had that year. He was hitting people in stride on deep passes. It's why he out Mahomes on that Monday Night Football. Be bold and mighty, forces will come to your aid. Johann Wolfgang von Goethe, one pride. Ben does a great job moving him around. Nightmares for defensive coordinators. If you look, Amon-Ra, when he's put in the X, 9 times out of 10 is a decoy to pull people off of Laporta and the secondary receivers. Go back and watch all of last year. Fantasy value for Gibbs is first round this year. What do you think of Montgomery this year? I Until I see a fall off from Montgomery and they actually switch the roles, I think that they were pretty close overall statistically with Monty being better in the red zone. So I think it's going to be more of the same. I can't tell you which one's going to have more yards or more touchdowns this year, but I think they're going to raise the percentage that Gibbs gets. Grandizer 12. That's another Detroit Lions first down. Dan Miller making the call with that one when he says it. This is kind of AG's no excuses year to have a bad passing defense, though, with what we added. Carlton Davis, immediate upgrade over Cam Sutton. I think if you're going to take Monty, you have to grab him somewhere between the 3rd and 5th round. Um, in the 1st round, I'm debating on Gibbs or Amon-Ra St. Brown for myself. And if you're picking later and Gibbs had fallen past there, Like if you're in that 11th or 12th spot, you could probably get both. Yep, Lions had the number 3 offense in production last year. I think we were 4th in scoring. Um, what we were lacking in is defensive scoring against because the passing defense was tearing us up. Everybody says, "Oh, your running defense numbers were inflated because people didn't run," and that's not true. If you look at most of the teams we beat, they still tried to run in the second half because that's how you have balance to your offense. Your running game sets up your play action. Your play action and your deep passing sets up your run game. They still tried to run. We didn't allow it. We tackled much better in our front seven than we did ever before. Even Anzalone, he improved himself from a 22.6 missed tackle rate in 2021 to a 15% in 2022. And then he went down to a 9.8% last year. Have a great day, Fred. Thank you very much. And yes, Ricky Scott, yeah, I think the thing that puts Gibbs over Monty is he's better out of the backfield catching the ball, but I see Monty getting him most of the goal line carries. We should have seen it. He led the team in tackles in 2022, and he did it again last year. The only reason why I will call Anzalone in typical Lions fashion, how do they did we fall apart last year? Did we honestly fall apart last year, Matt Henry? How did we fall apart last year? We made it all the way to the NFC Championship game. And it was 100% coaching while we lost, and it wasn't the fourth down calls. I don't think we fall this year. We improved the roster everywhere except at wide receiver, but I think the wide receivers we got are good. Everybody forgets that Antoine Green was a seventh round pick and developing in general. Oh, it's not going to happen. I don't see that with this coaching staff and this front office. I really don't. If I thought that, I wouldn't be saying the Lions it's between the Lions and Packers for first place in the NFC North still. And that's just my honest opinion. Um, the only thing that's gonna hold Packers back is how long it takes that defense to gel in the new 4-3 versus their old 3-4. Because they really didn't address all the personnel to fill that properly. And we did it all season, Ricky Scott. But it didn't stop us from winning. That's the crazy thing. It didn't stop us from winning throughout the season. Says no one. Every talking head nationally thinks we've improved. Yes, and I know they do. I pay attention to all of them. I watch NFL Network almost all weekend so I can keep up on all the news so I can be here. Um, and all the teams in the North have improved too. But when you're sitting at the top and you improve, doesn't that still keep you up there above the other teams? I've seen the Vegas bookies have us at 1 or 2. It depends on which bookie you're looking at. So I disagree with that statement a little bit, Orlando. You can cherry pick it. There's 2 of them that says we're the best, and there's 4 of them that says we're second. It's still San Francisco at the top till somebody knocks them off the throne. Just like in the AFC, it's still Kansas City until someone knocks them off their throne. But you're right. We're one of the most improved divisions in football. As a matter of fact, what I saw the ranking was the other day was 1 was San Francisco, 2 was the Lions, 3 was the Philadelphia Eagles, and 4 was the Packers. 5 was Dallas. How crazy is that? Dallas is at 5, and they won the division last year. Why? They did absolutely nothing but Ezekiel Elliott in free agency. They re-signed a has-been. They lost a lot of talent on the O-line and are filling it with rookies and maybes. 5 is the Bears for you. Bears came in at 9th, is what I saw, and I'm not blowing smoke. I'm just saying what I saw. The teams that were the bottom 4, we'll start at the very bottom, was Panthers, Giants, Falcons, and Commanders. Do I think JJ will be a good NFL QB? I don't think he will be if they start him year 1. I think he needs to sit a year, maybe 2. But they don't have the starting caliber quarterback to allow that to happen is the problem. They already said that Darnold will be the starter, but I expect that JJ is probably going to have to come in by week 6 at the latest. And I think that'll hinder his development. I think he needs to learn by watching a quality starter for a year. Uh, for as many wild throws that JJ had in college, he had the WTF throws. Yes, the team won while he was the quarterback, but it wasn't as much on his back as it was the team around him. He's a game manager QB that is somewhat athletic. Does he revert to running a lot? He will when that pocket breaks down. He'll have to revert. Remember, we hid him while Sharon Moore was the head coach because he was an assistant head coach and running backs coach as well as the offensive coordinator because Michigan Hart left. So that's why we hid JJ McCarthy with a powerful running game those 3 games while Harbaugh was out. It also made it so all the other teams that we were facing in the future thought JJ was a non-factor at all, which isn't the case. He's actually a decent guy. It's just it is what it is. Freshman and sophomore year, he ran a lot, right? Because he couldn't read a defense. He would fold under the pressure and just break out of the pocket and run. In his freshman year, do I like Orgy this year? I know I'm going to love hearing the announcers say his name when he throws a touchdown pass or runs one in. Touchdown, Michigan! Orgy in the end zone. Just tell me that doesn't sound hilarious. But I think Caleb Williams could be good as long Turtle giving him a run from rumors. Oh, Tuttle. There we go. Exact exactly. That's why I hated the move. I don't think they needed to trade up at all. I think they could have had him at 11, and it would have stymied some of that talk a little bit. By trading up that one pick, that's an additional 2 million in cap they didn't need to spend. And when you're a top 10 pick, bigger expectations fall on your shoulders, especially at quarterback. I think there's an exec there from Michigan, if I remember right. I don't know. But I personally feel like they should just run Darnold out and play him the entire season and suck as much as they can because they're going to have to replace Justin Jefferson next year. He's already refused a $30 million contract. And with the contracts going up and they really don't have the money to do that outside, they need to have more money. You know what I mean? It costs a lot to keep superstars. And despite what anybody thinks, Jay Jetta and Amon-Ra St. Brown. And I understand he's been placed with the position with the number 1 pick and all those weapons he has to succeed, but until you see it on the field and I see him improve his decision making that he had versus top defenses last year because his decision making was awful. Dak and JJ to Vegas next year. Why would they want to sign Dak? Dak is only a proven winner in the regular season. He can't get it done in the playoffs. It'd be like Minnesota getting him to not win the playoffs ever again. I think it makes no sense for both of them to go to Vegas. I think or Oakland or or Vegas is going to try to suck. But I do have to talk about my sponsors before I have to get out of here. It's been a great conversation with everybody in the chat. FTP, it's our favorite sponsor. Put it in the chat. FTP, Lost Negron, the best window tinner in Saginaw, voted by his peers and up for that award again this year as one of the top 10 guys. If you are in the Tri-Cities area, please go to the Saginaw Chamber of Commerce voting and vote. Lost Negron is the best window tinner. 989-443-9240. The address is 409 Hamilton Street. Set your appointment today. Mention this ad. Tell him Smoke and Jeremy B sent you, and he will hook you up with a great price. Brandon Service. Check us out. Best prices on used tires, great prices on new tires too. If you need a quote for new tires, 810-233-8230. Located at the corner of Grand Traverse and Atherton Roads. Check us out, and we will get you taken care of. That being said, it's been a wonderful day. Take care and enjoy the show.
Network broadcast. You can find us on Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, Facebook, and of course YouTube. Get all your NFL news here first.